I've got great news for you this week. Warrior Mars, who's still the key player on the zodiac stage, is shifting into forward gear this Monday, August the 27th, still in the sign of Capricorn. So remember the racehorse analogy I've been using, the one to describe this feeling that I've heard inside myself and I hear from all of you, where we're just feeling restless and impatient with the restraints, like that racehorse locked behind the starting gate. We've been having to, for example, tolerate lies upon lies when really in our hearts we know the truth. Well, now I see that we have protests popping up everywhere now that Warrior Mars is going forward gear with action. And we are going to really be able to see things much more clearly, and we're definitely going to be able to act on them, especially if you've been staying tuned to that inner Nike goddess, the goddess of victory, because now you have that energy moving straight forward in you, for the next several months at least. Hi, I'm Judith Royal, archetypal astrologer, and this is your astrology weather forecast for the week of August the 27th to September 2nd, 2018. So what in the world is going on? I'd like to refer you to that Renaissance philosophy with the phrase, as above, so below, as within, so without, which is really referring to the macrocosm and the microcosm. So astrology gives us this wonderful gift of understanding. When we watch the stars, the macrocosm, that light up with an archetype that emerges in a public venue, the microcosm, like the headlines, like popular movies, etc. And then all you have to do is notice the ones that really speak to you personally. They ring sort of a bell in your head when you see them or you hear about them, and they will manifest as synchronicities on your path. So all you have to do is notice those synchronicities and listen for those bells ringing in your head, which is really just the manifestation of your hunches, your intuition, your epiphanies, all of which are the tools that you have to envision exactly what is going on. Let me give you an example. I did an individual reading for a beautiful artist and wonderful woman who lives in Louisiana but has deep ties to the Lakota tribe. And she sent me an email with an article that was this blissful Lakota chief talking about a victory in the protests that they have had over some of the pipeline business, etc. And the quote from him was, "We've climbed the mountain." It was a victory quote. That's how he meant it. And I can't think of many better representations, manifestations of Mars in Capricorn. Remember, Capricorn is the mountain goat. And also then I also noticed a headline this week sort of jumped out to me when August 18th, the prisoners, many prisoners nationally, went on a 3-week strike. And their comment from the jailhouse lawyers was, "It's as if we're already dead, so what do we have to lose?" Question mark, right? So again, that was sort of like we've been restrained more than we can really stand. It's deadening to us, and so we're going to protest it. And I think that's a lot of the energy where we just do not any longer want to sit by and watch what's happening. without, in some personal way, something personal to us, speaking up, really having our voice, which is the theme for all of 2018. Now let's look at that macrocosm rather, of stars for the coming week. And remember, as you listen to the elements, when they are a match to the element of your moon or your own sun, that is empowering, an empowering time for you in particular. So, for example, this week, the lunar birthdays for those of you who have your moon in Pisces, Aries, Taurus, or Gemini, you are really full of energy to, well, to be yourself and to speak from your voice through your intuition. As we start the week, with the moon still in Pisces of Sunday, that's August 26th, the full moon in Pisces. So we're still having a little unfolding, the denouement of that moon, in which that was a 12th house evolutionary finishing up that had a lot of things bubble up from the unconscious or even from the consciousness where things were hidden. Monday is miraculous for more reasons than one, not only because Mars has turned direct, but also because we have Mercury, the messenger planet, in a square to Mars who's just gone direct. So there's going to be, I think initially, with all that pent-up energy, we wanted to act but didn't know quite how. So it's going to maybe blast out in a lot of frustration being expressed, and perhaps then a lot of that repressed anger goes direct and overt. So try not to get in a fight with anybody, but to remember to turn your anger into fierceness of the goddess, of the gods and goddesses, so that you really are able to use that power in a constructive way. Then we have also on Monday Jupiter, who is that still in whistleblowing Scorpio, is making a beautiful trine with the moon. So we actually have a whole grand trine in water signs lighting up for this whole week. So again, all of you who are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, you're being not just stirred into action, you're really carrying the torch for victory, that Nike goddess. That's really in your hands. Now, Tuesday is always Mars Day. It's the Just Do It Day. And this week, we're going to have that Aries moon adding fire to that because she's going to be in a square to Sheriff Saturn. Now, that means you really are going to have to pay attention so that you don't feel like you've got a wet blanket over your enthusiasm, that it's not really raining on your parade, though it might feel like it. So if your spirits are a little dampened on Tuesday, don't worry about it. It's going to all dry up on Wednesday. And that's the best day for you to actually speak your voice or try to have a conversation, work out something that has been unresolved between you and another person. So the Aries moon on Wednesday is going to help you dig deep, but also give you the words to be able to express it. Then Thursday is Jupiter's day. That's sort of the day of gratitude. We hope that we always stop and appreciate that. And the Aries moon is still with us up until dinner time, Pacific Daylight Time. And that Aries moon is going to be in an opposition to the goddess of love and also make sort of an internal tension with that Mars who's gone direct. So it's a very, very loaded day in terms of your relationships. So now that all that energy that's moving forward, you're going to apply that to the people who are closest to you, to the relationships and partnerships that are most important to you. Then around dinner time, the moon cools off. We get our feet back down to earth in Taurus. And at the same time, however, remember Uranus, the god of lightning, has been in Taurus since May 15th. And so the moon is going to right away run into the god of lightning. But we're still going to have an ease with it in terms of putting our life in order, even though we know it is a brand new order, nothing that we've had before. Then Friday, that's Venus Day, traditionally, where you feel your love for someone very strongly. It's going to work beautifully this Friday because we do have the Taurus moon, and Taurus is ruled by Venus. So it's a day of great happiness, too, because that Taurus moon is going to trine the Virgo sun. And that's Earth, Earth, Earth for those of you who are Taurus or Virgo or Capricorn. This is your power time. This is your lunar birthday. And you want to then, again, speak up and shore up your important relationships, your love relationships. Now, Saturday is Saturn's day. We always feel there's work to be done, and there certainly is this week. We have that Taurus moon still on Saturday, but in an opposition to Jupiter. So there's going to be a tendency to do too much, to go overboard. So try not to start Saturday with a very long to-do list, because it will be longer than any mere mortal could accomplish. However, we are going to have a lot to say, and again, we're going to get help with exactly the right words to say it. Then Sunday, ruled by the sun, that's when we feel the warmth and comfort of how much you are loved, and how much you do love others. And this Sunday, we have a Gemini moon. And it is the third quarter moon phase that we're in. And so Sunday is the day of that third quarter moon. So it is a final pruning and testing point. By now, you're learning from me that it is the question of authenticity. Are the goals you're working on now, especially now that we're really loose and racing forward with them, are they truly still authentic to where you started out? In other words, have you gotten too much feedback or input that has taken you away from what you truly want to be doing? So because of the retrograde phase that Mercury was in, Mercury's direct now, he's been in Leo from June 28th to September 5th. So he's still in Leo, right? And he has retraced our steps back to July 7th. So we're still picking up that energy as well. And looking toward the horizon, mark your calendars for September 16th is the new moon in Virgo, so that we really get to see that all of our judgments arise from distortions in our perception. Because, the quest for meaning in our lives is informed by the ego's secret motives coming up to the surface into our conscious awareness, and we're getting lots of that now. And also on the horizon ahead, we'll see the harvest moon rising September 24th. It's the first full moon after the autumn equinox, and it will harvest more than just grains of the field and grapes of our wrath, right? Because it's supposed to be a boom time in our economy, etc. So it has prosperity written all over it. In particular, the harvesting of truth. Thanks for listening, and I'll say bye for now and see you next week.